So guys, today is dyno day. We're going to put this beautiful bone stock Panigale V2 on the dyno to find out how much horsepower it's making on the rear wheel. The bike is suggested to make 155 horsepower at the crank stock. So pause the video, comment below what do you think it's going to make at the rear tire. Obviously going to make less because it's stock and the powertrain losses and everything are in effect. I'd love to read your comments to see who can get the closest to it. Guys, we're here at the dyno, the Panigale V2 strapped on. Obviously, you guys know that we love to get the RPM reading because you're not going to get a proper dyno number or consistent dyno numbers if you don't get an RPM reading. Look up the calculation of horsepower. The formula has RPM in it. That means that we have to get a proper RPM reading. We don't want to get it off the roller. It was easy. It's right here. Unlike the Panigale V4s and the V4 platform where we have to make an extension harness to make it easier to reach it, this is fairly easy, so we're happy. So the factory claims that this bike is 155 at the crank. It's going to lose some power to the rear wheel. Let me make an educated guess on how much I think it's going to make on the dyno. And I'm saying it's probably going to make 135 horsepower at the rear wheel. We'll see. We're also going to have some torque numbers. Let's run this on the dyno. Let's see how much power it makes in the stock form. And then you guys can be sure that we'll bring it back over here to the same dyno with the same setup with the RPM reading to get consistent numbers. And we'll see how much power we've gained with our mods. And then in the future episode, you guys are going to see us go crazy with this bike. It's going to get a completely new exhaust system and maybe a completely new engine. But stay tuned for that. But let's first see how much power this thing makes. So guys, that's it. That was easy. It did a lot more horsepower than we all expected, but the graphs kind of look a little messy. You'll see it when we put it up in this video where the torque curve is all over the place, which is not what you want. You want as flat of a torque curve as possible. Also, the power curve is not the cleanest as it could be. It did 147.25 horsepower at the wheel and 73.55 foot-pounds of torque at the rear wheel, which is quite surprising. Those are actually pretty good numbers, judging the fact that this bike is rated at 155 at the crank. The dyno figures though, the curves kind of indicate what I feel on the bike. So when you get on the power on this bike at the low RPMs, there's a big dip that you feel and then the bike gets going. I don't know if it's restrictions about the ECU or whatever it is. I don't think that's the way that the power delivery would be if there was no restrictions, but we're going to figure it out. And if you guys saw on the dyno, there was a big puff of white smoke, which was a little concerning. It didn't come out of the tailpipe, which is a good thing, but white smoke usually means it's an oil burn. So we have two theories. Number one, the bike is leaking oil, which is welcome to Ducati land. Or number two, that there was a puddle of oil somewhere on the bike when it was being built or when they filled the oil that just ran down, because it does get pretty hot on the dyno and it just touched the exhaust and it just went poof and burnt. I don't know about that theory because, like I said, I did ride this bike and I did kind of open it up quite a bit. It did get warm when I was riding it too. So I would hope it's the number two scenario, not the number one scenario. But what we're gonna do is next on this build, I was gonna take the bike completely apart anyways and put on all the carbon fiber fairings to be fitted. It's not gonna stay carbon fiber. I'm doing it because it's gonna go to the paint shop to get a very special livery on it. And it's gonna take a little while for them to do the livery. So we thought that while we're doing other things, we'll get the livery started. But before you paint anything, especially if it's a body panel that's not on the bike. I suggest putting everything on the bike and then making sure everything is fitting correctly or the way that you want it, and then getting it painted. So that's what we're gonna do. So that's the time that I'll check to inspect to see if there's a leak. There's a little bit of oil around the sight glass. I don't know if the sight glass is leaking. I hope not, because I don't think it's an easy replacement, but we'll see. I think if we figure out that it is leaking, it's gonna go back to Ducati for warranty. We're not gonna try to take this on like we did on the SP2 that we had, that we figured it out and we had a custom gasket made. But so those are the numbers. It also did, so we did 3 runs. So it did 142, 145, and 147 at the wheel. We're taking the highest number. We don't want to sugarcoat anything, because I could have just taken the 142 horsepower at the wheel and then put it on an exhaust, and we take the highest figure. So for the sake of transparency, we're going with the highest number. Some people like to also round up all the 3 runs, but I guess the 3rd one usually is the case, that the highest number will come on the 3rd one when everything is warmed up to the max temps, and then it gives you the best number, because I guess all the fluids are warmed up as well. But also, if you guys are spotting this beautiful bike on the background, this is 650E's build series bike that we just received. It's a beautiful Aprilia RSV4 in the special edition speed white livery. You guys can expect to see more on this channel with the Aprilia, and you guys have asked for it. I've been accused of being a Ducati fanboy. You guys might be surprised, because I'm an Aprilia fanboy, guys. This bike is wicked, it's awesome, I love it, and there's a lot of stuff that's gonna be done on this. So this is not our giveaway. We don't do giveaways, guys. So it's the 650E build series. This is the 12 series that he's doing. He does give these bikes away. We'll put a link in the description below to his Patreon, and that's how you guys, I guess, enter to win this motorcycle. Again, this is not a giveaway by us. We are only here to build the bike for him and for his build series, but we're not involved with any other giveaways, just to give you guys a head up. So don't try to hit us up and look for links to how you're supposed to win this bike. It'll be in the description below. There's more to come with this. But for now, let's wrap it up with this Panigale V2. On the next episode, you guys can expect me to do a teardown, and we'll go over to see if it has an oil leak or not, and you guys will see this bike in full carbon as well. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Until next time, guys, have a good one.